I experienced body shaming at a very young age, coming from my parents.
For the same reason, we don't go to the beach.
You don't go to the beach.
Don't?
No.
You deprive yourself of going to the beach for fear of what people will say. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was so looking forward to be pregnant to hopefully get a chest.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Aren't you meant to be the Maltese ambassador for anti-bullying?
Welcome to the She Word, conversations that women rarely have, but really should. And I'm your host, Trudy Kerr. Last year, we hosted a live event with guest speaker Danae Mercer Ricci. Now, Danae has a following of millions and uses her platform to speak out about a variety of topics, but frequently about the pressures we face in relation to body image. But Danae said something at the live event that sat with me ever since. Danae stated that the diet business is worth $90 billion. A business that thrives by making us feel that we need to be something else and that we are not enough. Every 52 minutes, someone dies from an eating disorder. Eating disorders are the deadliest of all mental disorders. Children as young as 6 are already dieting, already being targeted by the diet industry. Statistics show that body shaming is common, especially among adolescents, with 25 to 50% of teenagers reporting weight-based discrimination. A significant percentage of students experience body shaming, with one study reporting 66%. This has severe consequences, leading to emotional distress, body anxiety, and in extreme cases, suicidal tendencies. Social media and peer influence are significant factors, but family attitudes and advertising also contribute to these negative experiences, which are more prevalent among females. And whilst body shaming is prevalent in the younger generation, I'm also seeing an alarming new trend. As we thankfully experience more awareness relating to menopause and perimenopause, the diet, fitness and supplement industry is flooding the market with ads, almost always showing bloated tummies and rolls of fat. Fitness, being healthy and feeling good is unquestionably important, but the body shaming culture is aggressively rampant and often stops us from living our best life by portraying that the only yardstick we should be aiming for is an unattainable standard, and everything that is less than that is just not good enough. So I am joined by 3 ladies who really have something to talk about when it comes to the body shaming culture. And I'm extremely excited to be sitting down with them. First of all, Corrine.
Hello.
Hello, Corrine Muscat. Hello. You are a well-known personality in Malta. You're a voiceover artist for radio, TV, and new media, a freelance radio presenter.
Yes.
But formerly the breakfast show host on XFM, back in the days of XFM, which is where we know each other from.
Yes, that's right.
But now you are a qualified fitness coach and empower women of all shapes and sizes to get fit, strengthen, and move through a combination of cardio and weights. Is that right?
Sort of.
Okay.
I am a fully qualified level 3 personal trainer with a specialization in aging adults. And I empower men and women of all shapes and sizes and ages to just move. And I work on their strength, flexibility, and make them feel good. And hopefully they use me as a stepping stone to one day venture into a gym. That's the aim.
Doesn't that sound,
Yes.
That sounds so much better than I said.
Thank you.
Can we just say
you were close?
Well, near close, maybe not.
I studied hard and I studied for 2 years. So yeah,
I am so
the
excited.
outcome.
Because I happen to know about your journey with regards to this fitness training and being not fitness training, personal trainer.
Yes,
personal trainer, is
I'm
that
a
right?
personal trainer.
Okay, we're going to get to what that is a little bit later on, but I'm so glad that you're at the table. Caroline, Abela, thank you so much for joining us. You are
For having me.
You are so welcome. 50 years old, mother to Aiden.
Yes.
And a human mum to Peanut, who I'm assuming is not a human.
No.
Okay, we'll come to that in a minute. But you're an office and HR manager. You love fashion and beauty, and you passionately share this across your Instagram channel, which I'm really excited about. You are first time on the She Word.
Yes.
Welcome. And we'll fill in the details
I feel
in a
so
second.
honored to be here.
We are so glad that you can be here as part of this conversation. Leeanne Bartolo, hello.
Hello.
Hello, darling. It's actually not your first time on the show either. And you first appeared on the She Word in one of the very first shows, which is probably almost exactly 3 years ago. Can you believe that? That is insane. To fill in the details, you're a mum, but you also are the power behind the gym, fitness, and sports brand Warehouse, which is super exciting. But I actually know you from before that, from being the WFF European Bikini Champion, which is, how long ago was that now?
That was, I think, around 5 years ago, not more.
5 years ago.
I started in 2018.
Wow.
And it lasted for around 3 to 4 years.
That is absolutely amazing. And that's why you're at the table, because that's going to become very relevant in just a second. So I want to just say a huge welcome to each of you to being at the table.
Thank you for having us.
I mean, you corrected me already, Corrine, but did I miss it? I was like, damn, I'm going to get this right. Did I miss anything out about you?
No, you didn't. That's it.
Okay, that's
I do
all.
my voiceover work still. If someone calls on me to do a radio show, I go and do it, but it's not my full-time thing anymore. Now I just like to help people and make them feel empowered, especially if they don't have the confidence to go to a gym. It's so essential to move your body and strength train, especially when we hit perimenopause.
That is a whole separate show right there. Mm-hmm. That is an advert from Corrine for a whole totally another show.
I am a walking book about it because I went from not doing anything at all to really flipping the switch and changing my life around. And more people need to know the big difference it would make in their life if they just started moving.
And we're going to definitely hit on that. And we're going to hit on the reasons that women don't do that. And I love the fact that you also, you coach men, but the conversation today is very relevant to women and the challenges that we have. Caroline, what did I miss out about you? There must be more to you than that.
Not really.
No, don't say that. But you are passionate about fashion and about beauty.
Since I was a little girl.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I used to collect magazines when I started working and, make my own outfits and stick them I still have them at home.
Oh, wow. Pinterest before Pinterest was actually a thing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, I did. Even when I used to go, shopping and, I used to take the book with me to see if I find something.
Oh my word, that is so cool. Well, you're at the table because I put out a call for anyone that wants to come and talk about this topic to come on the show, and you answered and said yes, and we had a conversation. I said, great, I want you at my table. So I'm really glad that you're here, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Leanne, what did I miss out about you? You're a TRX coach, trainer, blah, blah, blah. What else
Spartan. Every year, I have to do a course every year. I have to boost my knowledge every single year. That's my thing. I have to sign up for a course.
Wow.
Yes, I did a couple. I find that it gives me the right boost that I need to stay motivated myself and to be able to motivate others. I also studied psychology. And one of the reasons for opening a gym was because I started working at Mount Carmel. And I used to see a lot of patients experiencing a vicious cycle. And I figured out that perhaps medicine wasn't doing the fix or the thing for them. And I really wanted to work on prevention. And that is where Warehouse came from.
How is it we've never had that conversation?
I don't really share it with a lot of people, but that was the actual origin because I wanted to work on prevention.
That's amazing.
And I didn't open a gym because I was very confident myself. I didn't open the gym because I was a gym freak myself. I just wanted to work on prevention. And then from that, obviously, one thing leads to the other.
We immediately have two completely different shows going to happen. I'm going to get you guys back at this table because that is insane. And I'm really glad that you shared that. I can't believe we've sat down at a table together many, many times and I didn't know that. That's fantastic. What a journey both of you ladies have. What a great show we've got ahead of us. I'm really excited. Look, I want to start off by telling you a story and really going into how this topic of body shaming and body image affects each one of us. And what we're talking about today is specifically body shaming more than body image, but the two are intrinsically connected. So recently I caught myself looking at photographs of myself in 2019. And in 2019, I had just run 126 kilometers. I just won a whole bunch of European races. XFM was doing incredibly well. I was presenting live events all over the islands, really at the top of my game. And I looked at the photographs and I actually look and I said to myself, wow, Trudy, you look really good in 2019. And of course it was before perimenopause or menopause or anything like that hit me. And I remember, and I looked at it and I looked at one photograph of me at the Love in Malta Awards and I looked at it and I said, wow, Trudy, you looked really hot. And then I remembered how I felt when I went to those awards in the outfit I was wearing. And I loved the outfit that I was wearing. I was wearing a pair of tight jeans and a pinstripe jacket, my favorite outfit of all time. But I remember as I walked into that room thinking, do I have the right to be here? Do I feel good enough, that I look good enough? Because I think I could probably do with losing a few more pounds. I feel my bum is too big, my thighs are too fat. And I look back and I was thinking to myself the other day, I wish I could have felt as good about myself then as I feel about myself now then.
Absolutely.
And it really made me think, where does this come from? And we're going to go into where does this come from, but also it makes me think about, I wondered to myself, does this affect everybody? Is this just me? And I wanted to ask you, Leanne, I'm going to start off with you before I come to these beautiful ladies, but my goodness, I interviewed you around the time that you were the WFF Bikini European Champion. And I remember you telling me about this thing is it called shedding? Where just before you go onto this stage, you lose every single bit of anything you possibly can and you walk out onto the stage. And I'm going to just say, you look hot now. But damn, girlfriend, you looked so hot. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that you could have felt any insecurity about your body, surely.
Oh, hell, I did. I did also because I knew I was going to be judged. I knew that I had to go on stage wearing a bikini in heels. And the whole point of doing those competitions was to challenge my own insecurities. So that was another, I had so many insecurities about it all. The only thing that helped me way back, they applied this very horrible, strong tan on you to look good on stage because of the very strong light. And somehow it made me feel like I was covered. I was dressed in something. I
like
didn't
putting
feel
on a
naked.
pair of sunglasses to kind of protect you.
So I felt protected by that ugly tan. But yes, I was very insecure. I didn't even share it with anyone until I won, and I had no other choice but to share it. Only my mom and my way back boyfriend knew about it. I didn't even tell my sisters. They still bully me to date. No, I still had my insecurities. And what you just shared right now is my same thought whenever I see photos of myself, either on stage or myself way back when I was doing competitions and I was training. I was so disciplined and I was so in control of things, but somehow I still wasn't happy. So what is this thing of us not being happy? Is it society putting pressure on us, or is it us not loving ourselves as we are now? Always wanting to perfection, always. I had mentioned this 3 years ago. I had done my dissertation on body dysmorphia. And I do believe that we all have a tiny bit of it. You know, we focus on our kosha, we fix our kosha problem, and then all of a sudden it becomes our
something else. Your thigh.
Tight.
Your thigh.
thigh.
My thighs are kosher.
Yes.
You have two of them, Trudy. Just two.
I got kosher. Nice.
Kosher.
How cool.
Ouch, koshosh.
Kosher. I got kosher.
So it's like our focus shifts. The second we fix something that would have been bothering us, we're happy for a tiny period of time, and then we start focusing on our hair thinning or our skin wrinkling or something else. So there's always something to be unhappy about.
And this is what we're going to dive into in just a second. But I don't know about you ladies, but whenever I hear you say that, and I've heard you say it before, and it's why I asked you the question first, I'm always flabbergasted because, I mean it genuinely, and I would go and have a look at photos of Leanne standing on stage looking really hot. I mean, you looked amazing. And the idea that you could in any way, shape or form not feel comfortable or feel any insecurity, it's sort of like if you can feel insecure when you look that good, that kind of gives a perspective to the rest of us. Ladies, I mean, is this something that I'm gathering that is something that's affected you because we're sitting at this table?
I mean, I can say that there was a period in my life where I actually achieved or felt that I was like good with myself. And that was, I think, between the age of 25 and 27. Yes, very.
But that's a very narrow period of time.
Yes.
So what happened
Before
between
that,
25 and 27?
I was always a very shy kid growing up. I never liked myself to the extent that I never saw what my parents saw. Like they used to tell me, "Oh, you're so cute," and I never saw what they were seeing. I could never see that. Like I didn't like my hair. I was short. Like I remember when I was going to school in the bus, they used to be the cool kids, laughing their heads off, and I used to think, "Oh, I'm sure they're laughing at my hair or whatever." Like always, I never walked looking straight at someone. I always walked facing like. God knows how many times I bumped into someone because I never looked inside. I was very shy. And it took me a long time to actually love myself and say, okay, I feel good. And I was never, let's use the word fat. I was always skinny. In fact, my sister used to hate on me because she said like we were the opposite. Like she was skinny when she was a kid and I was like a little chubby. And then we switched roles, So my sister is big boned and taller than me. So
take care and enhance your beauty. Brands, empowering wellness through a selection of high-quality makeup brands.
Everybody all around, everybody's getting down. Everybody's like, wow, there's a new sound in town. Everybody's like, wow. Everybody all around, everybody's getting down. Everybody's like, wow, there's a new sound in town. Everybody's like, wow. That's just our style.
Ideal Standard, celebrating 90 years of success in the local market, exclusively from Satariano.
But can I ask you,
yes.
and we're going to come into this as we go through the conversation because you've just said a whole bunch of things that I'm going to touch on. But what happened at 25 to make you feel like you were there? And then what happened at 27 to make you feel like you weren't? Because that's very, very definitive.
Because I think I was in a relationship.
Oh.
And it made me feel like important, or seen more than anything, because I never used to see myself as this person that could be in a relationship or so that's why I think I put a lot of pressure into being the need of being with someone for so many years.
See, that adds a whole another level to this whole idea of body image, body shaming, and how we feel,
belonging.
and sense of belonging. Going to come back to that in a second. Cool.
My experience, well, I was never skinny. I was always a bit on the chubby side growing up, but not tremendously so. But I experienced body shaming at a very young age, coming from my parents, and not necessarily, they didn't mean it in a bad way. And I need to really stress this. They were just doing what they thought was caring for me. And I'd get comments like, oh, look at your friend. If you lost a few pounds, you could have a waist like that.
Wow.
And when you think about that, and now just little comments that would be dropped, like, do you really need that extra cookie? And I'm sure they were right, but there was a way of doing it and saying it that they weren't aware of back then. And I'm sure that parents these days are much more observant to how they speak to their children, because these are things that we carry with us our entire life. Forever, I will be thinking in my head, is my waist small enough? Can I get my waist that small so that I look like my friend, type of thing? Because that was what was given to me when I was a child. But when it comes to public, I'm very wary of what I put out there, I think, on social media, because I want to avoid people body shaming me. Not everybody takes it the same way. Not everybody has a thick skin. I do not like when someone looks at you and says, well, you need to have a thick skin if you're going to be in the public eye. No. I say BS. I say be a decent human being.
You don't have to, you can say.
Can I? Yeah, well, you're full of crap then. All right? I still won't swear, but they're full of shit. And there you go, she did it.
You went for it.
What I say to that is that is just, they're full of shit. And at the end of the day, there's people who are waiting in the wings, the keyboard warriors, the people who have nothing else better to do than to tear people down. Those professional trolls that are sitting there like this. Oh, I have one who's been following me about for like 10 years. And I was so close many times to reporting them but I know exactly who this person is. And this person has their own issues that have nothing to do with me.
You.
And at the end of the day, it's a sad, sad person who sits behind their keyboard and thinks it's funny to tear down somebody who's trying to do some good. Today is the very first time, Trudy, you know how much convincing it took to get me on this show today. Because what I do to help people, I do very privately. Because I don't need the fucking hassle of people shaming me for not looking the part in their eyes. It has nothing to do with am I able to do the job or not. It has to do with, oh, well, she doesn't look like a PT. And to those people, I say kiss my ass, because at the end of the day, I know I'm good at my job. I know I'm helping women, my clients who I've been training for the last 2 years. They range from the ages of 13, 22, 68, to middle-aged women like myself who were in need of help going through perimenopause and menopause. And what I say to those people is, yeah, basically kiss my ass, because I do a damn good job. And I worked with personal trainers my entire time when I flipped the switch on myself and got myself healthier and started my journey of losing weight. And I know what I offer is special. And nobody can take that away from me. So thank you for having me on and making me go public with this.
We cheers to
Yeah,
this?
let's
And it's
cheers to
coming-
this.
Sorry, and the rest of you can kiss my ass.
Oh, we're all going to kiss Corrine's ass.
I meant every single word. I
Damn
could
it.
tell.
And it's coming
Because
from a
it's
place
hurt.
of truth.
A place of truth and a place of hurt. And
I-
it took
can
a
I-
long time for me to be able to sit here and say publicly what I now do for a living, apart from my voiceovers.
But you said something, and I have to jump in. I have to just interject at this point, because both of you mentioned something that really struck me, and that is, we are not born with body shaming.
No.
We do not come into this world feeling bad about our bodies. And you referenced yourself something that you've been carrying with you since you were a child. And I can hear the emotion in your voice, the passion to make change, but also the almost the trauma from where you are coming from. And likewise with yourself, Caroline, you talked about being a child. You talked about being a kid and not feeling great about yourself. We don't. Immediately when you said that, I'm thinking to myself, where the hell does that come from?
And it's not something that my core friends ever said to me, or my parents ever said to me, because
Just felt
it felt that, and it's got nothing to do, because now social media is so much in your face. In my days, we only had magazines, and you couldn't afford magazines at the age of 13, 14, like kids are nowadays with social media. They're bombarded with, all type of influencers and people out there trying to make money. It's just a matter of insecurity more than anything. And I think being surrounded a lot of with women, like, because I was in an all-girls school back then, even though it was a government school. Like, women always, I feel that we are, not all of us, but most of us, we are our own enemies. Women bring women down.
And we are definitely, I really want to dive into that, my mind is blown away because we've been sat here for 10 minutes and already we've touched on so many different areas. And I want to break them down because you've also mentioned about women not helping. You mentioned social media, you mentioned sort of growing up. But I want to come back to this idea that we aren't born feeling negative towards our own bodies. We aren't born body shamed. And yet girls as young as 6 are now dieting, which I find absolutely abhorrent. One study reports that at age 13, 53% of girls are unhappy with their bodies. And this grows to 78% by the time girls reach 17. And when asked, are you happy with your body? 42% of teens answered yes. And only 37% of women in their 60s answered yes. And I mentioned that because it is something that we pick up at somewhere and we carry it with us pretty much for the rest of our lives. So I just want to jump in here and just put this as some context. So I asked AI for the root of body shaming, and I guess not surprisingly, the results indicated media as a significant cause, which we've talked about it, but we've also talked about family. We've talked about where we grew up and so on and so forth. The root of body shaming lies in societal conditioning, where unrealistic body ideals are promoted through media and culture, where leading pressures to conform to these standards contribute to body shaming. It can also stem from personal insecurities, where individuals shame others to feel better about their own perceived flaws. And that goes back to what you're talking about in the schools. And from a lack of awareness around the harmful impact of such comments. Historic factors such as ancient standards of beauty and later the associating of certain body types with wealth or poverty also contribute to this phenomenon. Now, after Danae shared this diet industry worth $90 billion, right?
I believe that.
Which is insane.
That's crazy.
After this, I mean, isn't it just...
That is insane.
Can we just take a moment to follow the money? Because
I mean, my Instagram is flooded with
Me too.
with all kind of things to make me feel better.
That's algorithm as well. If you think about something these days, it comes up on you.
how can you no,
Yes,
it's not in
that
my
is
head.
true.
You can't
That
think
is
about
true.
it.
That is true, because last time I was talking, I didn't search.
You're stalking someone?
I was talking to someone. The next thing I know, I opened my phone.
No,
yes.
that we know.
Yes.
The phones are listening. But anyway, that's again a whole nother show.
But still, it's like...
Reality is, it is a good business. Fitness industry, supplements, medication, quick fixes. Unfortunately, some people tend to go for extremities. to get quick results. We are impatient. We are growing to become more impatient. The more society is feeding us with different possibilities and different options, the more impatient we're becoming. And who opts to go to the gym if they can buy a pill?
Ozempic.
That's it. You're mentioning Ozempic yourself. A lot of people, especially the new and younger generation, they want things easy. Unfortunately, they want the quick fix. They don't want to hustle. They don't want to sign up to a gym and show up. They would rather
but
buy.
Ozempic is not going to give you a six-pack.
The sad thing is that they're misinformed.
Yes,
They will lose all their muscle mass if they don't know what they're doing. They just take it. They lose their muscle mass. They lose weight, yes. But because they haven't used Ozempic alongside healthy eating and movement, you'll just lose all your muscle mass. You're not going to keep your muscle. You won't gain any muscle. Your body will start to look like an old person because you just do not have muscle mass anymore. And then you go off Ozempic.
The same with fat burners.
And suddenly you gain 3 times back what you were before because you don't understand that it's just a tool. It's not a magic wand. And you have to take it, but you have to take it along with changing what you eat, using that time that you're on Ozempic to teach yourself new ways. You need to sort out the way you eat, and you need to move and exercise and strength train, or it's not going to work. You will come off that injection and you will go right back to square one.
Agreed.
And so many women, like you said, are seeing it as a quick fix. Oh, I need to fit into that dress for that wedding. Let me go to the doctor and get some.
There used to be Slim and Trim way back. Remember it?
Yes, I remember Slim and Trim.
I believe in these GLP-1 injections. They can do a lot of good. They can help a lot of overweight, obese people lose weight. But I do not agree with the way sometimes they are given out. They're just given out without really any
Like that
background
here,
or
Malta,
guidance.
No?
It's a lot. It's around.
I know that it's around, but is it?
I think,
it
yes,
is.
it is. It is.
I'm not going to say.
I don't know about
I'm
this.
going to be careful what I say, but
I mean, I know because I follow a lot of overseas influencers and they talk about it like as if it's nothing.
It was here.
I know that
It was here 3 years ago.
Yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
it was
Really?
already rampant in Malta 3 years ago, and I can tell you because I knew people that were already engaged in
I heard
Ozempic and
rumors, but I was not.
But why not? I
really-
mean, why not? I mean, look.
Why not,
No,
as
no,
long
no,
as
no,
you're
no.
doing it
Why?
right?
Why?
As you do it right.
No,
Yeah.
hear me out. Because when we look at advertising, and I want to keep focusing on the body shaming that drives us to this. And I said, follow the money. This industry, this diet industry that is based on making us feel like we are not enough, and supplements. You mentioned supplements and so on. Is worth $90 billion. I in preparation for this, I did a bit of I did what you were just mentioning there. I stopped, when an ad comes up and you say, I don't want to see it. I stopped that and I saw what came up. And of course, Instagram and Facebook and everyone must know I'm in menopause. And so the ads all came up for menopause. And 2 ads, I'm just going to list here, started with the phrases as one. The first one says, here's why you have a beer belly even if you don't drink. This is the line
I
on
know
the
which
advert.
one that is.
Is this for Happy Mammoth? They're
Yep,
calling you
yep.
out, you bunch of
Yes,
a-holes.
let's
That's
call
the
them
one.
out. I get
That's
those
the
ads
one.
all
And
the
then
time.
the second advert said, fellas, if your wife is bloating out like a whale in
What?
her 50s,
Your wife,
it might
pardon me?
not be her fault. And this is really aggressive online bullying used as an online advert.
believe it.
But it's there.
I think it's a
is,
woman
but
that
it's
does
just-
that.
It's there.
I believe it's a woman that does that.
but it's
I don't know, but whoever does it.
No, but can we not?
Also,
agree?
because there's
terrible.
no one regulating social
No, there's
media
no
or
regulation,
social
is
media
there?
these days, unless you swear or
Or show off
write the
some
word gun
extra skin.
or other specific keywords. You can basically throw whatever you want out there, unless someone regulates it.
But have you seen similar advert. You've seen the one I'm talking about with Happy
Yes.
Mama. You've seen similar adverts. I
Yes.
mean, the issue you talked about, and again, this is where regulation comes in. What Caroline was talking about before about going out and getting fashion magazines, and we'll come to that in a second, but going out and buying fashion magazines, you had to go and purchase them. You put them in your hand, you could put them down. This is in our
our
hands.
It comes
This
on your
is in
feed.
our hands 24/7.
I can see like why the statistics are so, because kids at 9 years old, they're already with their mobiles.
Yes,
so
they have TikTok. They have.
I mean, TikTok, and if it's not TikTok, it's YouTube Shorts now. Like there's like everything. Like my son knows things about what's happening out there more than me sometimes, because he's bred on social media, on these platforms, on YouTube, and he doesn't have TikTok or Instagram, but there's YouTube Shorts, which
and
is
this
the
is
same
where it's
thing.
coming to. And
That's why
and
they
Again, since it's such a successful business, it is obviously what society is injecting. I always repeat this and say the same thing. I find social media to be our bloodstream. So the business owner decides what to inject in our bloodstream, and that's social media. We want people to be hyped up or to get hyped up about losing weight. So you will approach people in a certain way to make them all hyped up. It's the same with other trends. Everything has become a trend. So we move from one trend to the other. Luckily or unluckily, is that even a word?
yes.
Trends, we shift from one trend to the other very quickly. It has its positives and its negatives. There was Ozempic, now we'll soon hear about something new.
There's a pill. I read about it the other day.
Well, I
You
haven't
take it
got-
one a day and very little side effects, works better than these GLP-1 injections. But when is it ever going to be enough? Back to the body shaming thing. So you would look at someone, some of these trolls, let's say these body shamers, and they would say, oh, look at that. You know, she's so big and she's this and she's that. So that person goes and does something drastic, either bariatric surgery or a GLP-1 injection, and they lose the weight. And then what do they get, Trudy? Then they get, they took the lazy way.
Yes.
They get body shamed again.
again.
They
or
get shamed again.
They look older now.
So
and it will
the
keep
way
on
I
coming.
see it, we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. So we may as well do whatever is best for us, whatever keeps us happy and healthy and longer on this earth, which is what we all want. And to hell with everyone else, because no matter what, you're going to
And
get
that
it.
is where and when psychology comes in. We have to start from a very young age teaching our kids, and that is why it's important that our kids don't listen to a complaining mother. You know, if, let's say, my kids look at me or hear their mother complain how fat, I look horrible, I look ugly. If I'm being constantly negative, that's what I'm feeding my kids. And that's how they're going to grow up, thinking negatively. So we have to, from such a young age, even at school if need be, just like we learn PSHE and other topics, it has to be one of our life skills, psychology. We have to teach them how to be strong mentally. We have to teach them how to love themselves now, however they are, whether they're chubby, fat, you name it.
But it's not just that. I mean, I remember an incident, like, I think last year. Random, I was at my kid's school. I dropped him off because he had his orals, and I was just there minding my own business. You know, it's like I was having a good day, like, you know, everything was going well, the house, and I was just waiting for my son, minding my own business. And this woman came up to me and she said, like, out of the blues, I don't even know this woman. I mean, I know she's a parent, but, and she said, like, she was pregnant, and she told me, you're pregnant as well. And I'm like, is she talking to me? I was like, and I kept on scrolling as if I said, like, and she was like, sorry, okay. And there were other two women, and it's like I said, and I said, no, I'm not pregnant. And the other woman continued the conversation by saying, like, because I looked that I was angry and upset and pissed off, whatever you may call it. And she said, the other woman said, like, it's not a bad thing if she thinks you're pregnant. I said, but the thing is, I'm not pregnant. I said, but I could have something else. Would you know if I have something else? And it really threw me off, and I went on a rant, and I went on a rant on my social media. So and that's why I said that it's worse because it comes from a woman. Because even when I was pregnant, I remember the first 3 months of my pregnancy were amazing. Like, I still wearing high heels, tight dresses. I felt good, belly out. But towards the end, I got really tired and everything. And women, they used to come to me and it's like, but are you sure you're having just one kid? And it's like, seriously.
But you touched on this point about women, and I want to bring this into the conversation because, and hear me out, there is a multi-billion-dollar industry that makes its money from making us feel that we need to be something else. But it wouldn't be able to do that unless there was a vacuum. It wouldn't be able to step in and make us react and say, okay, I need Ozempic, or I need to go to the gym, and we're going to come to how we can get fit and so on in a second. But it wouldn't be able to do that unless we as women had created that vacuum in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
But is it us as women that have done this, or is there this mastermind of men that are just standing behind? Because I don't think we're very nice to each other either.
No,
I actually
you're
don't.
absolutely
but
right.
why
You're
are we not nice
absolutely
to
right.
each other?
We can't blame
Why?
this one on men.
No, we can't.
We can't blame it on men.
Because they
Not
don't
fully.
do it. They don't do that to, like, between.
I know what you're saying, girlfriend.
They don't. I mean, a group of men can hate on each other. They hate each other's
And they
guts.
do, right?
They do. But they always have their back, each other's back. Even if they hate each other, women don't do that.
I don't think they can hold a grudge. It's like they
No,
They let it go.
men
They just
don't
let
body
it go.
shame other men. Like, you have a beer belly, you have a dead
they
bod.
just take the
But men's
piss,
mates
I
are the
guess.
first ones who are going to body shame them. I've seen it with my male friends, the way they speak to each other. It's they body shame each other relentlessly,
Jokingly, but
but some of these men do take it to heart. Not
Yes.
all of them have a thick skin. And
In
that's
fact.
what makes me sad about it. They get it too. No matter, you see the celebrities, for example, Jelly Roll, Ted Swims, they lost a lot of weight, Post Malone. Again, they're also damned if they do and damned if they don't. Because once they lost weight, it's like, oh, he doesn't look so good anymore. There's always a comment. Like, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it.
back
say
to
it.
this body dysmorphia dissertation that I had done. In fact, I had researched. So my research was homemakers, women working in fashion, and men and women at work. It's been a while back. And there was a higher statistic, a higher percentage of males wanting to do cosmetic surgery.
Wow.
Or have work done to feel better about themselves. So we might think that they don't care, but they
so
do.
do.
It seems that they do.
Okay, but do men do what we do as women? Do they, when they put... I can guarantee most of the people I know do this. I've done it myself. You go to post a photograph of yourself and you pop on a filter. I don't do it anymore. I try not to.
No.
But pop on a filter because...
Maybe.
But would a guy do that? Would a guy pop a filter on because they want
on
to
the
look...
guy.
Depend. Not my husband. He hates photos and he just doesn't care. He doesn't care. In fact, at times when I notice he's being nervous about nothing fitting him, I try to encourage him to be healthier, not for the looks, but for him feeling stronger and feeling better. And then, there would be a plot twist. I would think that he's going to tell me, okay, we can do this. Oh no, but I'm really happy with how I look and how I feel, and like, I'm fine.
I just buy a bigger shirt.
Okay,
I like the plot twist. This is brilliant.
Stop complaining.
But they do feel it.
Now they do feel it, but I think maybe it's our hormones. I don't know what it is with us women.
It's always the hormones.
It's always
Always
blame
them.
everything on the hormones. But there is a truth in there that but you were saying about women not being good to each other.
Yeah.
But we're actually also in creating an environment by Gordon Bennett, by posting and it's in our hands. We see it every day, all day, posting. And I get it. You want to post the best photo of yourself.
Sure.
You're probably not going to post a photo of, looking a bit crap. But when it isn't the truth, it isn't you, the standards that we're raising for each other is so inaccessible. I mean, like you said, Caroline, it used to be in magazines on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew back then in the 80s that these photographs would be Photoshopped. They'd be airbrushed.
They don't even have pores.
No pores or beauty spots, nothing.
Right. But we as women, as general women, as the absolute general population, didn't have access to be able to Photoshop photos of ourselves.
No, we did not.
So when we showed a photograph to someone else, it was the raw
Real.
truth.
It was us.
And now every single person who
You don't even know if it's
Filters are
real.
addictive.
I mean, I use filters because sometimes I don't wake up like this every day, but it's not because
None of us do, darling. Absolutely none of us. Nobody does.
Periods are part of the game, but they don't have to throw you off your game. Try new Always Platinum for up to 100% leak protection, faster absorption, dry feel, and it's more cushiony, so you can focus on your game. It's a new period, always.
We know when we need to take that pause, that break, but we feel guilty for stepping away from our partners, kids, and work. We feel like we need someone's permission to have something that we simply deserve. The She Word has partnered up with Myoka Spas to give you just that, your permission to take time for yourself, the time you wouldn't usually take, but really should. Use code word SHEWORD for 10% off any individual treatment when booking online at myoka.com, or enjoy 10% off any gift box in store with gift vouchers over €100. So when it comes to, I mean, we talked about the fact that there are women using filters every day, all the time. But there are some women I feel who stand out for me, who I really admire. And I'm wondering if you guys know anybody as well. Danae Mercer, for instance, Danae Mercer, who came down for our live event, 2 million followers, absolutely love her. And she's constantly posting photographs of her cellulite. And she admits openly and says, I have Botox and I have this and I have that. And she says it. And she said, but this is, and she'll to photograph herself, looking posed. And then when she's relaxed, love her, absolutely love her for that. But Emma Thompson, do you know who Emma Thompson is? Emma Thompson from Love Actually?
Yes.
Love her.
She's a brilliant actress.
She's like our age, and she's just like, nope, this is me, this is real, this is absolutely how it is. Kate Winslet has come out and said about the industry and how the industry was all focused around making her try to be something that is not even achievable. And Adele. Now, Adele is an interesting one because Adele came into the market as a singer who was a big girl, and she lost weight. And exactly that. Damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Right.
And where does this come from? Why do we do this? Well, let me ask you multiple questions and jump in with any answers. Why do we do this to each other as women? And do you have people in the industry that you admire? Because I feel we should be lifting these women up.
I feel that insecure people tend to, you said it earlier on, tend to feel better by criticizing others. It's like they project their insecurities on others.
Absolutely.
Which
yeah,
is very
100%.
sad, very sad. And which is also why it is important to start teaching our kids from a young age that there's no need to do that to feel good about yourself. There are various other ways how to love yourself as you are, not by, don't get your motivation by harming others, by creating, harm to others, but get it from within you. If you want to feel good about yourself, train, go for a walk. You don't even need to spend money to go to a gym. Go for a walk, help someone. That makes me so happy when I feel that I've helped. I help my clients that are, again, of any age, any size, and any form. That is what gives me happiness. So I think that the root to all this is the lack of skills, lack of coping skills. How do I deal with my insecurity? Oh, I pick on others. It's the easy way out.
Sure.
Why do we do it? Why do we find pleasure in making others look bad?
But isn't it like a nicotine hit as well? It's like smoking a cigarette. You're going to enjoy it for the time that you're smoking it. You're going to enjoy it for the time that you are slagging somebody off or using them as a stepping post. And then give 30 minutes and you need to do it again because it doesn't have a long-lasting impact because it's not in you. No. I know, good. That wasn't that good?
I know someone who has multiple aliases and uses those aliases to troll different people on the internet, including me. And there are people who make this a thing. And yes, I agree with you 100%. This stems from their insecurity. It also stems from their need for attention because lest we forget, now on internet, they get applause too. Oh. They get cheered on, don't they? They get the little likes, they get the loves, they get the laughy emojis. And so not only is the person in question being made to feel bad because they're being demeaned, they're being body shamed, or they're being shamed for any reason or insulted online for all of the public to see, but then that is tripled, quadrupled by everyone who likes or laughs or whatever at their silly comments. And what makes me sad is, why does it feel so good to make people feel like shit? What kind of a person are you that you would rather spend your time on the internet trolling other people like that? Rather than going out there and doing some good? That's a sad person. Those are sad people. I mean, everyone who likes those comments, laughs at those comments, those are sad people.
A lot.
With nothing else better to do.
Most recently, there were like 2 instances, both at the same time. There was, the release of the new movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer. And one of the actresses, like, she's, she's like us in her 50s. And she's like, and then there was Nelly Furtado on the other spectrum. She was on doing a concert. She was feeling confident. She's a mom of 2 kids. Come on, I mean, she's a woman,
right?
And all the majority of the comments mostly came from women. That she's fat.
What happened to her? And
what happened to her? Imagine how she feels. She got up on stage in front of all those people when she used to be, a size 2 or a size 0? And now she's hippie. She's Portuguese. She's got that blood in her.
Exactly.
Same as we do. We can't help it if we've got a bit of hips and thighs or if we've got a bit of a badonkadonk.
And she was confident about it. And she was strutting on stage like no tomorrow, she was in her, when she was 18 years old. So what's wrong with that? I mean, that's for me, it's empowering. So why bring her down?
Is that the people commenting are usually either looking at the same?
Yeah.
They would,
or worse. Keep saying
share the video link in our, it's usually not, Naomi Campbell.
Yeah.
Because I'm losing some brain cells,
Oh, welcome to the party, girlfriend. You don't get to own that one, huh?
So these people commenting are no Naomi Campbells, right?
Exactly.
So,
but
as you were saying, why does it make us feel so good to put others down?
Why?
What is this? And again, I go back to projection. I feel that people that feel like shit feel better if they know that others are feeling like shit, you know, that they're not alone in it. But again, it's very sad because we are creating a very negative society.
What are we teaching our children
That's
through
the
this?
thing.
Because
The
before,
upcoming
like
generation.
you guys said, it was magazines, and everybody would say, "Don't read those beauty magazines because they give a false standard of what a real woman looks like." And I don't like that term, "a real woman," either, because if we go back in history, lest we forget about Rubens, who did Rubens paint? Did he paint women who were stick thin and fit that narrative of, catwalk model? Or did he paint women who were a bit more voluptuous? Look at Marilyn Monroe. She was a pinup for so many people for so long. Where did that go?
But
Now-
Core. I mean, you just said something a second ago, and I'm agreeing with everything that you said, but isn't it a case of the fact you mentioned before, when we had magazines and so
Yeah.
on and so forth, you knew that those people on the magazines were models.
Yes.
Now, in our hand,
Yes.
everybody wants to be a freaking model.
Yes.
Everybody acts as if they are a model.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back to what you just said a second ago. And you said yourself, Caroline, we, even as nationalities, we don't have the same shapes.
No.
Women in the southern Mediterranean, for instance, I remember Chiara sitting here and saying that women in the south of the Mediterranean are very much more likely to have PCOS. And one of the big symptoms, 50% of women in Malta are most likely to be affected by
Yes.
PCOS. And one of the largest factors of PCOS is actually weight gain. So it's not about obesity or anything like this. It could be that you actually are affected by your hormones, and yay, hormones again, and by what's going on in your body is making you gain weight. Here in the south of the Mediterranean, that is absolutely undisputed happening. And your shape might be different to mine. I'm Northern European, so I have a big ass. No, I do. I have a tiny waist and a big ass, but we're different.
Hey, there's rap songs written about women with
thanks.
tiny waists and big asses.
my ass.
Okay.
There's a rap song about my
Lest we
ass.
forget, I like big butts and I cannot lie. Yeah, let's not forget. Even Rachel sang that to her baby. Like,
I'm
if that's
feeling
not
good right now.
teaching your kid right,
Isn't that the case that we are not all the same, and yet everybody wants to be a model, and they'll filter out of themselves until they are looking like a model, and then that's what they project to the world.
They all
I am
want,
not a model.
They all want to look like a model, also because everything has become so attainable. Before it was a magazine, and maybe we couldn't. It was very difficult for us to figure out a way of how to look like that model. But now we have everything available coming on our feet without us even searching it. All the different options, supplements, medication, gyms, treatments, everything has become so possible, so easy that yes, we all want it. So we're all in it.
yeah.
We all want to be it.
So why are we not all models? Well, I mean, if that's the case, because that would then suggest that everybody is a model shape, and that's not the truth at all.
Because it remains to be a trend. It's yet again another trend. There are so many other trends that we follow. This is one of them, and it's a main one. As you said, it's a big business, and it's a main trend that is affecting both women and men.
Some things are given to the wrong people to put it out there to catch more of the trend. It's like attainable supplements, making them easy, put them in the hands of someone who has, 50,000 followers. Like as an advert, as an ad. Making it, it's not that bad.
Attainable.
I'm not saying that the job is wrong. It's the way we're going about it to make more money.
Oh, well, I mean,
of it.
that comes back to follow the money. I mean, I always say this in every single instance of every single movement, trend, or whatever, follow the money. Where is the money? The money in this instance, who is benefiting from women feeling shit about themselves? It's those industries. It's the industries that live off, thrive off, and make billions from women feeling bad about themselves, and would quite happily sit there and flood our feed with filters to make us, want to make us make ourselves look like the person that we can portray ourselves, because we have the ability to make ourselves look like a model. Have you ever done that? Have you met, just as an aside, you met somebody who you know online and gone,
Oh, of
You
course.
don't look like
It
that.
happens to me all the time at the gym, and I joke with them
Always.
about it because I'm known for joking a lot, and they tell me, "Aren't you meant to be the Maltese ambassador for anti-bullying?" I tell them that's not anti-bullying, but you can update your profile pic on Instagram. I can never find you. My problem is whenever I take a photo after a class, and they always ask for permission first. And it's never a post photo. It's always a funny one. I tell them, guys, I can never find you because you look so different. But yet again, even I look so different. If you look at my Instagram profile pic that I always forget to change. It's like we never remember to, like Facebook used to be a thing to change it every now and again. But somehow Instagram, I never think about it. I don't see it, so I don't change it somehow.
I actually can't. Permissions won't let me for some reason. Anyway.
And we really laugh about it because it's true. We all put our best photo, possibly from decades ago, and that's it.
Well, think about what they used to do at home. They go out and get these glamour shots done. So they're looking their absolute best. And those photos went up on the wall. And that's pretty much what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't use
Good point.
filters. Back in the day when they first came out, filters, of course, I experimented with them and used them. But then I realized how fake I looked. And my God, somebody's going to look at me in the street because I think about that crap. Like somebody's going to go, oh my God, you don't look like your profile picture at all. So I stopped. The only thing I do is if you wake up one morning and you have a spot, the last thing I want is to be body shamed about having, a pimple. So I would definitely Photoshop the pimple out.
No, I don't even know how to do that. So that makes me,
that
is why my account
no filters, no
I learned.
filters.
I taught myself.
Look at Drew Barrymore. Just recently, she was on holiday in Italy. And Drew Barrymore wore a very plain black one-piece swimsuit, jumped in, makeup free, no plastic surgery, nothing done to herself, just happy and having fun. And she said, I don't care anymore. I am not going to indulge in these crazy beauty standards and this pressure on women to look a certain way, and now on men too. And I admire her. I admire people like Lizzo because she can go up and she doesn't care. She don't care. She goes and she puts herself out there. It doesn't matter how big she was. She's lost a lot of weight. She admitted to using a GLP-1 for a little while. But she also, let's not forget, has access to a lot of money. She has access to personal chefs, personal trainers. She has access to many things that the normal human being might not have access to.
That's another pressure that we
right?
add to ourselves. Yeah. We forget that celebrities, the new celebrity culture, that everything has become attainable, but everything comes at a cost. We are no living in the USA. Our wages are not the same, not even close.
And it's not even that the wages are not the same. I mean, they make it's unattainable for the normal human being. Like last time I don't know, I came on across Snapchat. I don't know how I still have the app on my phone, and a story of Khloe Kardashian came up, and
I knew you were going to say the Kardashians.
And
Scourge of the earth. Sorry, guys.
I never saw an episode, but I don't know why she's on my Snapchat. I don't follow her, but apparently Snapchat shows these people. And she was in Mexico doing these treatments that cost like an arm and a leg and a kidney and whatnot. And she just tagged on the story that she wishes that one day normal people can afford these treatments.
But Some of us don't want to. Can I just say that there's some of us who want to grow old?
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
The fact that she's aware, she's telling people
that's because
hey, it's because I'm rich.
I'm privileged.
Yes.
You know?
But it's not even that. It's her saying that is the standard. And what you're talking about Lizzo, and you're talking about who else were you talking about?
Let me go back to Lizzo, by the way, because I don't want it to come across that I agree that she's flaunting being obese. Because at the end of the day, obese is obese, and you do need to get on board and do something about it to keep yourself healthy and longer on this earth. But then there's also a difference between somebody who's overweight and does nothing and somebody who's overweight and works their butt off. And I know many women like that, and I'm one of them. But I've gone from a size 24 to a size 16. And it's taken me 7 years, but I also was on the precipice of perimenopause when I started my journey, and I had no clue about perimenopause. Absolutely. So it took me many years to find out what works for me. And finally, I'm in the rhythm and it's all happening. But I never went backwards. I just kept going down and down at my own pace. And if that pace isn't fast enough for some people, again, let me reiterate, kiss my ass. Because I don't care. It took me more than 25 years to get to a size 24. It took many bad habits, very unhealthy habits, no movement whatsoever, pain in my body where I would go on holiday and be so ashamed because I couldn't walk. I couldn't keep up with my family. And one day something happened. And
what happened?
I saw an advert on Facebook for a new gym that opened in Gozo. And someone was offering a kickboxing fitness class for free. Come and join, see if you like it. And I said, do I even have workout clothes? I was sitting on the sofa scrolling on Facebook. Do I even have workout clothes? Oh, let me just go do it. Maybe I should do something. Like I was at that point where I was so ashamed of myself. And I got up, went to the class, and that instructor saw me, saw how apprehensive I was. He was super supportive. I can't tell you how much. I made it through that class. And he said to me at the end of it, the fact that you made it through that class is just the first step. I'm so proud of you. And that meant everything, because then I went to reception and the trainer behind the reception desk said, did you enjoy that? Would you be interested in maybe some one-on-one training? Would that make you feel better about coming in? Because I was really scared to go into a gym. I thought I'd be made fun of, but I went in and I found nothing but support. Now, whatever people said behind my back, that's on them. That's on them. It just shows what kind of a person they are, because you cannot point at someone and say, oh, look at you. You've got a big ass or big thighs or big arms. Right. And then that person goes to better themselves and you're still going to whip them for it. Like, come on. We have to draw the line.
And I tell you, as an owner of a gym myself,
yes.
I always had this dream of building a supportive community. And I'm very happy to say that I think that I've achieved it. People come to class. We think, yes, we overthink. That's our problem as women. And maybe as us women tend to overthink more than men. But it could also be because of hormones.
You're right, though, yeah.
What I notice and I love about the community and the gym and people attending classes is when people step inside the gym, they don't care about who looks better than who. They don't, as in when they come there, they all become the same. So whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a mechanic, homemaker, they're all the same. And what I love about it is that they actually support. And you can tell that it's genuine. They support each other. So the problem is not even at the gym.
No.
The problem is behind the keyboard. This is the biggest. I am impressed by people telling me, I kept on coming because there was that one girl in class that stayed with me, decided to partner up with me. And for me, that meant the world. That's it. So it's nice. It's until you get to that place where people are going to lift you up.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of people get stuck. with behind the keyboard and get those comments stuck in their head. You're fat, you're ugly, and they never make it to the gym.
No.
Now it doesn't have to be the gym. It could be, there are a lot of walking groups that walk around Malta. They do trekking and it's free. There are so many different groups that you can be part of.
right.
Let's say you can't afford the gym or a class these days. There are so many, but it's until you make it to that place, safe place, that is tricky.
Yes.
And
Now,
I think,
what can we do ourselves to help people make that step? Because it's not easy.
Dercos, recommended by dermatologists. Anti-hair loss protocol. A concentration of aminexil in a scalp treatment to reduce hair loss by 29%. And in a stimulating shampoo to boost volume by 48%. A potent synergy for hair 3 times stronger. Anti-hair loss protocol. By Dercos, the dermatological scalp and hair expert.
Welcome to Maison Perrier. Discover Maison Perrier Chic and enjoy our new non-alcoholic cocktail range. Maison Perrier. Enjoy our new sophisticated mocktails.
I'm absolutely loving listening to both of you ladies.
I'm in awe of what they are saying.
I'm loving what you're saying. Absolutely loving what you're saying. And I'm going to come back to that in a second because I want to motivate women even more to take that step out. But I also just want to interject into this, that we as women, as much as we as women have a responsibility in tearing each other down, we have to take responsibility for the society that we've created. We have to take responsibility for the unobtainable standards that we have created, that the industry is feeding on, because the industry is only there because we have created this. We also have the power, as you guys have just illustrated, to make a difference to any other woman's life. I mean, walk down the street and just say to a woman who's walking opposite, hey, you look good.
Oh, yeah.
You tell, I do it regularly, and it's something I'm not boasting, it's something that I get as much of a kick out of as somebody else. But get on the Gozo ferry, go to Gozo, right? And you'll see somebody sitting there, and you can see, as women, we can identify other women who need that something. And it doesn't cost you anything.
It's free, and it
you
feels
just turn
so
around
good.
and say, Leanne, or say, do you mind me saying, do you speak English? Do you mind me saying, Diane, girlfriend, you're looking good today. I get a kick out of it. You get a kick out of it. It's a win-win situation.
It's great. And it feels good. And why don't we do it more? Why don't we help each other more? Why are we letting these bastards behind their keyboard win?
But isn't it, why are we letting the bastards behind the keyboard win? Why are we letting the industry dictate who we should be?
That's also
why
true.
Are we doing this to each other? Yeah. Why are we not getting up and going to the gym?
We are also trying to do another 1,000,001 thing. We are so busy. We have got into such a busy lifestyle, that yes, we end up falling into this trap. And it's so easy when you're busy and you're tired and what happens when you're tired? It affects your hormones once again. You start feeling,
those hormones.
You start looking at everything from a more negative angle. You start, looking at everything across the board from a different lens, unfortunately. And then you have a good night's sleep, and then all of a sudden you're back in your, as in you're back to being positive. At times all it takes is a walk, a good sleep, a drink, a chat with a friend, and we're back to feeling ourselves again. But unfortunately, because we, as women, again, we are doing so much. We have evolved so much from being back in the days, the women used to just, I don't use the word just, but used to be at home. Raising kids and homemakers. Make sure that the house is clean, make sure that the husband finds a warm plate at the table, and make sure to be available for the family. Nowadays, we are still doing all that, but at the same time, we have an important role in society. We all work, we all have to keep up, other positions, roles in our life, that it has become so difficult for us to be in charge and in control of all the different areas in our life. And what happens, I can speak from experience. I tend to give so much of my energy to everyone, to my clients, to my family. The older I see my parents grow, the more I want to give them. Because I'm so grateful for the life that they've given me. To my kids now, that's who ends up suffering, me. So what becomes tempting to me? While breastfeeding at around 3 in the morning, you get one of these ads. This looks like a good... Now, I'm speaking as someone that is a professional in the fitness industry, and I like to be an advocate when it comes to health, fitness, nutrition, sleep. But it becomes tempting, when we're weak, and by weak I mean tired, everything becomes tempting. You have no energy to fight it, so let's buy it. Let's join the trend. And once again, we go back to it being a trend. I don't know if it makes sense.
It makes sense. As you were speaking, though, it just made me think of. I want to ask Caroline. You and I just bonded over these ladies and how empowering that they have just been, and how they empower other men and women. But I want to just ask you, because we had a conversation before we sat down at the table, and it's a rather impertinent question, so feel free to tell me that you don't want to answer. But you yourself mentioned that you had this period that you felt good between 25 and 27. And you're now 50. We've had that conversation as well. But before we sat down at the table, you said...
I'm going to cry.
Oh, no. No tears. But you said that you didn't go to a gym and wouldn't go to a gym. Would you go to a gym with one of these ladies? Do you feel like you need to go? Do you want to go? I mean, the reason I mention that is because we at our age, throughout our lives as women, we do have to give attention to our bodies. And as you get older, strength is incredibly important. It's not just important for our well-being, our mental well-being, which is what you mentioned before, but also it is what will carry us through for the next 30, 40 years. Because if we don't have strength, we're going to really feel it. So it's something that we should be thinking about.
I feel it's important to understand that we need to feel, we have to start from the fact that we need to get out of our own heads and out of our own standards. Maybe we put ourselves, we give ourselves a very high bar to reach, whilst we don't understand that, or we don't appreciate how much we are doing, and how important. But here, I always felt that I ate healthy. I went to a nutritionist quite a couple of times in my life, and I did exercise by walking, never to the gym, because I never felt the need to, because I adjusted. I made do with what I had, so to speak. Hearing these ladies speak, I feel like maybe I should.
But do you not go to the gym because you don't feel that you want to, or do you feel that you don't have a place? The reason I ask that is, let me explain. I'm going to put myself out there first, and then I'll ask you guys to chip in. I'm 51 years old. I have run ultras. I've 168 kilometers nonstop, all the rest of it. I've done all of this. I've won championships. I've never, up until this year, worn shorts. I was so embarrassed about my legs that I've done all of these events wearing long leggings. Never wear shorts. And Emily Jones, who we've spoken about and who's been on this show, mentioned, she talked about earlier on this year, she talked about the fact in the She Warrior show that her mum, who has very sadly passed away 2 years ago, never felt the sun on her arms because her mum was so embarrassed of showing her arms because she had bingo wings. We all know what bingo wings are. I have them. You can't avoid them. As you get older, they're there. You can work on them, but they're going to turn up. And her mum was so embarrassed that she wouldn't wear and it hit my soul. It really hit my soul. And I said to myself, Trude, that's you. You won't wear shorts because you don't want anyone to see your legs. And I went along to Eurosport. I got myself a pair of fancy shorts.
for you, Trudy.
And I will not get out of these shorts. I have not taken them off for the entire summer. Because I got into them and I just said to myself, I honestly don't give a flying crap. Yeah. I don't care anymore. But it's taken me 30 years to get to wear shorts. 30 years. And in the meantime, I've won, my age group in World Championships and all the rest of it.
You could have been more comfortable and you could have done.
Holy cow, I'd have sweated less, that's for sure. There's a photograph of me running the Run Fire, Salt Lake Run Fire in the middle of Turkey. It is 38 degrees and I'm running in long trousers because I won't show my legs.
But that's what we do.
Isn't that
for
what
fear
we bloody
of
well
being
doing?
Body shamed.
Absolutely.
And this is not fair. This is not fair on us. And I know life is unfair, blah, 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 blah. But my God, when is it going to stop? When are we all going to realize how
Can I tell you
detrimental
something?
it is?
It's also okay not to love every single body part. I don't.
Isn't that normal?
Really like
Don't we
my
all?
flat chest. I was so looking forward to be pregnant to hopefully get a chest, and
Girl,
I
I'll
still
give you
didn't
some.
get it.
I can
swap. Give me some.
We're all going to give Leanne bits of our boobs. You can take all of it, girl.
But it's perfectly fine. I am at a point, maybe because I have this chill character, that I joke about it. I still don't wear certain tops because I don't feel comfortable. Yes, I'm aware of it, but I can joke about it. So I still, even when it comes, so I won the bikini fitness championship, European championship. And then I was shy to go to the beach and to wear a bikini because I was so flat. And it really affected me. And I always wanted to get my boobs done, but because
Sorry, I'm just going to repeat
Please
this.
don't.
Can I just repeat this? Can I just say this? Because this has just landed with me. Again, this is not far from what Emily was saying about her mum. You won the WFF Bikini European Champion standing on stage on, can I just say, because I saw the photographs, the tiniest bikini ever known to man. I mean, if there was actually a bikini there, it was like, very economical on the cloth.
petite.
But then you come back to Malta and you're too afraid to.
And why are we afraid? Because we are afraid of what people we know very often. Because let's say if you don't know someone, let's say an unknown person comments about you, you don't give it much thought. But when it's someone, perhaps because in Malta we're known, it's such a small country and we all know everyone, we know each other, somehow it gives me more anxiety. So I feel more anxious here than being on stage in a foreign country where no one knows me.
That I completely understand.
That I do too, because
Yeah.
I always feel more confident when I'm abroad. If I'm dancing or doing something, there's not these people who know me who are looking at me.
I have visions of you
and if anyone judges me, who cares? But
I've got visions of you
If
standing
you
on
get-
stage on Mykonos, like in your
well,
bikini.
no, I wouldn't do that. But like I said, there's these women on social media who are quite large and they pose in bikinis and they're out there and they're confident and they are body positive about themselves. And I applaud them for being so confident. I am not advocating that they're healthy. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, admire their confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's women who are far slimmer and look better physically, in the sense they're more to those standards, and they won't go on social media in a bikini,
And
but
in
these
fact,
larger women will. So I admire the confidence.
It's really not how you look, but
No,
it's
it's
how you
not.
feel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I looked perfect and a lot of people, as in someone else's eye, I didn't feel perfect. I felt too skinny. I felt sick because obviously I felt deprived because I love food. I had
to
been
get
eating.
like that,
To
yeah.
get like that, naturally, you have to eat. You have to be super strict. So I went to weddings and I took my own food. You have to be disciplined because you have to really be well organized.
You went to people's weddings and you took your own food.
Oh, so many times. so many times. And we're quite social people. And it was during that age when a lot of friends were getting married.
Wow.
Can I just say, you didn't bring your own food to my wedding, did you?
No. That was already past competition. So that was one of the best.
Yeah, it was one of my guests at my
I feel
wedding.
so lucky, thanks to my best friend Tez. I feel so lucky.
It was good food though, wasn't it?
It was good food. And the fact that it was such a small wedding, it made it extra special. I loved every second. Plus, I happen to know the husband's family. And so we're in Malta. We're small world. Small Malta.
Bit of a sideshow there, but I was just concerned at a second when you said that you'd brought your own, and I didn't spot it.
Food.
I want to come back to you, Leanne. I want to touch on a question I just asked you, and I illustrated my point by saying about me wearing shorts, and I want to just ask this question again. Is the gym somewhere you want to go, or you're not interested, or you don't feel that you have a place there?
I want to.
Right.
Especially when my son is asking me if it's something we can do together. Because, like, I don't think my son is fat, okay? Like, I love him, he's beautiful. But he tends to be, he's gotten his dad side of the body, of the family. He's a little bit chubbier.
Okay,
You
so
know?
your son wants to go to the gym.
We were meant to start this summer, but I kept postponing.
Wow.
Because
So let me ask you.
I cannot see myself. I cannot bring myself. For the same reason we don't go to the beach.
You don't go to the
You
beach.
don't?
No.
You deprive yourself of going to the beach for fear of what people will say. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Do you see?
Not worth it.
This is not worth it. Who cares what they
once.
think?
I don't know.
None of those
Yes,
people
yes,
matter.
yes.
And if they're rude,
And if I go,
if they say something,
it has to be a pool which I know is like full of foreigners and
Nobody
definitely
knows,
knows definitely there
But
won't
Cor,
be
don't you
any
think
Maltese.
that Caroline is speaking for so many women.
so many women,
So many women.
so many
Can
women.
Can I challenge you to maybe pick up and go to the gym with Leanne or with Cor? Can we do something?
You can do it with both. You can
Yeah.
even do it
Can we
together
get
if you
Leanne
like. Come to the gym.
with her
Happily.
son? Can we do that?
I'll
Can we
love
do
it.
that after
If
the
that
show?
all
would make
come,
you
we can
feel
do it.
better and get you started, absolutely. I think I can speak for both of us. That's why we do what we
And
do.
I think I remember when my journey started 5 years ago. I remember my son was sick and I took him to our physician. And I think about the time, like my knees started hurting. And I was complaining about it. And I remember we went to the doctor and he said like, what's wrong? And I said like, he's a little bit sick. And he's like, the first thing he said to me, he said like, I think you should try to avoid like he said something like, your son shouldn't eat so many sweets or something like that, he said. And I said like, my son doesn't even eat sweet, but he said like he gained a lot of weight since the last time I saw him. And I said like, listen, he doesn't eat sweets, he eats healthy, like home cooked meals, that we don't eat junk food, etc., etc. And then I turned to him and said like, my knees are hurting, blah blah blah. And he said like, I think you should lose some weight because that is why your knees are hurting. And I said like, are you for real? I mean, shouldn't like a doctor, I don't feel like I'm unhealthy. I just have a belly and
I can understand when the doctor where the doctor is coming from, and I think they are faced with so many situations that they become really blunt in the way they
No bedside
communicate.
manner.
They communicate in a very straightforward way because what you're saying is very familiar to me. I've heard other people saying this.
Okay, so
No, I wouldn't take it personally. I think it's just them seeing so many different patients, and it would be coming from a good place as a physician.
Sure.
Trying to tell you, listen, perhaps if you can if you can fit in a walk a couple of days a week and perhaps shed a few kilos, that will create less pressure on your joints and you'll experience less pain. Maybe there's a way of communicating it, but I can understand his point. You're definitely not overweight. You're definitely not. But I cannot, it just comes in a very blunt way. But also, again, to say this in favor of physicians and doctors, they experience and they are faced with so many extreme situations
sure.
that they become immune to our.
But it's interesting because your doctor's words hit your weakest point, not your knees, the weakest point in here, because obviously that was something that you were processing and feeling at the time. Guys, I would love for Caroline to jump in with one of you and get onto to a gym and for you and your son, and to see next summer all of us down at the beach, me in shorts, Leanne in a bikini.
A padded bikini, okay?
And also we're having a really good time, and I'd love to see some change. I want to come to the end of this show because we've talked around so many different areas of this body shaming culture. But one thing that we've come back to, and one thing that is really apparent, is that this has to change. And it's not going to come from the industry, and it's not going to come from media, and it's not going to come from social media. It's not going to come from there, because follow the money, they're making money out of us feeling shit about ourselves.
They are indeed, yeah.
So it's going to come down to us. And if we are, as women, are responsible somewhat for driving this idea that we are not enough, then we are the ones that can take control to lift each other up. And I think that's how I want to end, by just asking, how do we lift each other up? How do we make each other? How do we change? How do we create change? And I'm going to ask each of you to throw something into the table so that we can walk away with some practical ideas. You guys already do that, and feel free to comment on that. And Leanne, I'll be really interested to see what you have to say. I'm going to start off because I think that will give you a moment to think about it. But certainly from my point of view, just walking down the street and making that comment when you see someone, just saying, hey, listen, to people you do not know and to people you know as well, but being really free with your comments and your genuine boosts to each other. Seeing a woman and saying, wow, you look really good. We cannot even imagine how much that can impact and then have a ripple effect on somebody else. But taking the time just to say that, just to say to somebody else, a complete stranger, I'm trying to do it, if not every day, every other day. And it's not disingenuous. We all think these thoughts all the time. Veronica from Satariano, which is where we're filming here, walked in today. She looked absolutely hot as anything. And I'm saying this because I know she can hear me. And I didn't say it, and I was saving myself to say it. She looked gorgeous. And I think that's where, and you guys look absolutely gorgeous. And we have to build each other up, because by gum, do we have enough that is trying to pull us down? That's my thought. So you guys, you're looking lovely and beautiful. Leanne, tell me.
Now, I do believe that it's in my role, and also it's our responsibility as women, because us, better than anyone else, know what our body is able of doing. So rather than focusing on what we don't like, on how much we've changed, I know that I've changed. I don't look like I looked on stage, you know. I do have a few stretch marks, not in the place where I wanted them to, but, you know, we do change. But let's focus on what I've created. I've created two human beings. You know, at times I look at them, I look at their tiny nose, at their eyes, at their, like, how did I do that? That's a miracle, you know. Let's focus on what you managed to do. You ran all those Ks. That's insane. You know, let's focus on what we can do, on what we're amazing at, rather than on adding to this negative culture that we're surrounded with. So if we focus on the able rather than the limitations, I think we can make a tiny bit of change.
I like that. I think you can make enormous change. Caroline, any of your thoughts about how we are going to get ourselves as women out of this?
I wish for all women that when we realize that lifting each other and supporting each other is far more better than tearing each other down. If I can say something, I used to watch this show. It used to be called, it's a series, The L Word. And in this, there is an episode, like there is a thing that I share a lot on my social media sometimes. It's about lobsters. So basically, male lobsters and female lobsters, they're separated when they are being cooked, so to speak. The female lobsters, when they put in the boiling water, they tear each other down, because if one cannot survive, none of them will. Whereas the male lobster, they start helping the smallest lobster to get out of the pot. In fact, you have to put a lid on the boiling water when the male lobsters are being cooked, whereas the female don't need to. And that says a lot about women, and like even women. So if we just honestly understand how much we can empower each other by actually not being jealous of each other, I think the world will be a better place. And me, as a mom of a boy, it's far more easier for him to teach him how to treat a person, any kind of person, especially a woman, and to be equal, because ultimately we're all the same.
I love that analogy that you used of the lobster. I love that. And I'm going to play that back in my head, and also going to go research that. And if I can find it, I'll put the link underneath the show.
I have the link. I will share it with you.
Share it with me, and I can share it under the show.
Because I share it a lot on my social media sometimes, especially when I vent. Because I vent a lot sometimes.
Okay. Positively from here on in, okay?
Well, if they let me, I will.
But there's also another good reason not to eat lobster. I don't eat lobster.
I don't eat.
We've got a table of people not leaving lobster. I do love that analogy.
Just an analogy, but it says a lot.
Yeah.
It says a lot.
Cool. I'm going to come to you because you are, for me, an absolute inspiration. You are a lady who I know has faced many, many challenges. And I've watched you over the last 5 years just say, you know what? I'm going to fight every stereotype. I'm going to fight every body shaming. I'm going to fight every negative comment. And I am going to do this. And by doing this, I'm going to empower other men and women. And for me, I have so much respect. I'm going to cry.
Stop it, because you're making me cry. This is going to be like
but I do. I have so much respect for you. You blow my mind, and you've been consistent and persistent in what you're doing, and seeing you.
I've not given up.
You've not given up.
And I need to make it clear to anybody who's behind their keyboard right now, ready to... I need to make it very clear that I've been on this journey. This journey's not been easy for me. It's been a huge change to my life, to my family's life, all for the better now. But I'm still on my journey. I'm not finished yet. And I finally found my groove, so to speak, where hormones are getting balanced. My way of eating has changed. My way of exercising has changed very much so this year. And all of it has worked to my benefit. I found the rhythm that works, and everyone can find that rhythm. Just please don't let something like worrying about what other people are going to say about your arms or your ass or your stomach or anything in general. Do not let that stop you from bettering yourself, improving your health overall. It's so important no matter what age, but especially when we're going through perimenopause, when we're going through middle age. It's so important for us to stay away from disease, to keep our body weight at a certain level. Like I said, I'm still on my journey, so be kind, because I'm getting there. My scale has never gone up. It's always gone down, and it will continue to go down. And I love to empower these women and these men who come to me who maybe don't feel as comfortable going into a gym for fear of body shaming, but I'm helping build their confidence. So maybe some of them will actually use me as a stepping stone to get into the gym and say, you know what? Fuck it. I am going in and I'm going to better myself. I'm not going to let disease take me, and I'm not going to get cholesterol, and I'm not going to get blood pressure, and I'm not going to get, I'm going to make those scales go down, and I'm going to do something to feel better about myself, and I'm going to do it for me. And whoever doesn't support you in that, cut them loose. They're not worth knowing. And that is something empowering that was said to me by our friend, Chandru, when I was body shaming myself, not body shaming myself, but talking down about myself and what I do, because he asked why I'm not on social media, why I'm not putting myself out there. And I said I was terrified because of the backlash, because people don't understand what I'm doing. They don't have a clue what I offer my clients. Only my clients do. And with full confidence, I know they would all vouch for me and say that I've boosted their confidence. But maybe some of these people eventually will say, you know what, now I feel good and I feel confident, and now I'm going to go into a gym and I don't need you anymore. Bye-bye. I think that would be the biggest compliment to me if someone went, you know what, I feel confident enough now that I can walk into a gym.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. But then there's some who feel more comfortable staying with one-on-one, and that's okay too. I was like that my entire time when I started training, But I love the gym now. Just go in there, find someone supportive, and make the change now before it's too late.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.